Welcome to the Bringing Hope Home podcast. We're Bryce and Colette Schaefer, pastors, teachers, and madly in love empty nesters. We invite you into our home as we candidly share faith-filled, practical ways to build a strong and lasting marriage.
Hi, welcome back to Bringing Hope Home. We are your hosts, Bryce and Colette Schaefer, and here for another episode. And today we are talking about distractions, which we all, I think everybody could raise their hand and say, I am Colette, I am distracted.
Yes, we're a distracted anonymous.
Yeah.
Our worlds, with technologies making things quicker and easier to access, well, I think our lives got a lot more complicated and distractions just amped up through the roof.
Right. Everywhere you look is a distraction. Because we, like you said, we have so much available to us, right at our fingertips that it's easy to get distracted on what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I remember in elementary school, even high school, all we could use is like the Encyclopedia Britannica and, the Rolodex file of stuff. And now it's just, let's look it up on our phone. Oh yeah, when was that movie out? It's just so easy.
You don't even have to look it up. You can talk in your phone. Hey Siri, what?
Right. It's gotten so quick and everybody wants instant. And so distractions are big. And so, with what technology has done for us, what our lives have given us, there's always benefits and then there's always drawbacks. And so, as I have a book out, says Stolen Gifts. And I think the technology is a blessing and a curse sometimes, and other things like distractions and what we get to do. So I think that's important to remember that we've got to be the ones that rein ourselves in when it comes to distractions and not getting distracted, because that's where the devil wants to be in our playground with really subtle, hints at getting us off task, off the plan of God, and off especially the marriage track.
Well, yeah, when you're dealing with family, the devil wants to split families apart. And so what better way to use, he's always used distraction. He's always used things of this world. We'll get to that verse to get your focus off what it should be focused on, right? But nowadays, it's so easy for families just to go their separate ways. You go to their restaurant and you see families sitting there, even couples, and they're on their phone. They're not even engaged in any conversation. You see the kids sitting there with their iPads, the parents all on their phones, and they're missing the opportunity of having good conversation.
Yeah, it hurts my heart.
Yeah, you kind of just want to go up there and take their phones and say,
yeah, I'll give this back when you're done.
Look at each other.
Yeah.
So that's why this is an important topic for all of us, just to take an evaluation of where we are, because like I said at the beginning, we all have a problem with distractions.
Right. Oh,
there's not one of us that can say, oh no, I got this taken care of. No, we can all be easily
It's so nice that our phones at the end or the start of the week can give you a report of how much screen time you had.
Yeah, what does yours say?
And mine said 4.5 hours
a day.
And I actually got pretty upset at my phone, but the phone can't talk back. And
you liar.
Yeah, I did. But then you go in and you look at, now some of it's podcasts and other things. Now some of my podcasts are really good. Like my Bronco one, I really probably don't need. But so it added
You're
in
doing
everything.
Other things.
Right.
I'm getting
not
ready
just
while
games.
I listen to podcasts.
Yeah. So it's not all that, but if you just
don't turn our podcast on.
Right. Those are good, and you can do multitasking for sure. But just think about it. If I did a little bit of math, pretty easy to do. If I had 4.5 hours or any amount, if I just cut a half hour out of that phone screen time and said, okay, I'm going to be more productive and put that half hour to work, that's 2.5 hours a week. That's then 5 hours every 2, so that's 10 per month. That's 120 hours a year. That's 3 weeks of 40-hour weeks that we could gain back.
People say, well, I don't have time.
Oh my.
Well, our phones are sucking
Yeah.
all of our time.
Right, just a half hour of my 4.5 hours. Just cut it back to 4 screen time hours.
You know, and that's just talking about time.
Right.
But what about the emotional baggage and everything? You know, I know we've mentioned before, but every time you scroll, you are training your brain for judgment, making little judgments here and there. Is this going to hold my attention? And so we give these split seconds. So we're training our brain to make judgments. And as teachers, when we were teaching, it is hard to hold kids' attention now because they're so used to just scrolling and getting instant gratification and choosing what they're going to listen to and what they're not going to watch. And we have an epidemic, really. Yeah. And you watch the high school kids, they're zombies walking around and, you know, sitting there on their phones, not engaged with each other. And they're sad. You see anxiety going up, mental problems going up. Why? Because this phone and these apps are telling you how to behave, how to think.
Quick judgment.
Quick judgments.
And then let's just even go to God. If God doesn't give us that instant gratification like our phones need to, we just scroll on by God. Right. And sometimes God needs to mature you, make you grow up a little bit. There's a perfect work that comes.
It doesn't work in our fast-paced society.
Right. He's not a genie. He's not a genie just giving us stuff and not changing us, because he's from the inside out. So there's a lot there. And so distractions, we say, can breed dysfunction.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to get away from. And we want you as the audience to take a pause of your life and an inventory this week of your distractions. And it doesn't have to just be phone. It can be TV. Like you said, it's emotional. You know, a lot of people are into drama, just drama in their own life. Drama. Well, cut out the drama. And that would really lessen the distraction and then the dysfunction. So there's a lot. And
even the word entertainment, it is designed to get your mind off, like it's a distraction. I don't have the definition in front of me, but even entertainment is, I think it has distraction in it. So yeah. Yeah,
and I think when you think of this, well, I just need to relax and veg out, and we all need those moments. We're not telling you not to have downtime. And if your downtime is playing a game on your phone or, you know, watching TV, I get it. But again, we can limit it. It's just like anything. If we do it for a while, then we want more of it. Whether that's sweets, caffeine, alcohol, anything, our bodies, after a while, get numb to it. And we need more to fix it up.
Well, and actually it doesn't give you a downtime, because if you're looking
really
at
doesn't.
your phone, because it actually is the endorphins and everything that's triggering, it's getting you more hyped. There's studies that show there's more anxiety. So actually it's not helping you relax at all.
But we
that's
think
kind
it
of
is.
a cop-out.
And it's a lie.
It is
that
a lie.
we have. So we want you not just to limit everything. We're not telling you to go to extremes, but learn to control. And this is just your week to maybe say, let's start afresh and anew in my life. And again, we can only control ourselves. But then if you have kids and we want to make those positive, because you know, you give an inch, you sometimes, you know, they take a mile, and they meaning yourself with things. So those are good things. Let's go to our verse just to get started here, and that is in Mark chapter 4, verse 17. And it says, let's see.
Is it 19?
Yeah, 19. Sorry. I said 17. And the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches and the desires of other things enter in, choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. So, you know, the desires of other things enter in to choke the word. And it's not just choking the word of God, but God's plan for your life. You know, you give 3 weeks of your life to something other than distractions. Boy, what could you do? Helping the church. Your calling of God to go out and be God's hands and feet. You know, you quickly do stuff. You can go on a mission trip. Well, I don't have time to go on a mission trip. Maybe you do, if you cut these things out and plan correctly. So that's it. But let's get to focusing on just marriage. Well, how do we cut down on distractions in marriage, since this is a marriage podcast, a little bit family oriented? So number one, talk more. Put the phone down.
Don't allow phone at the table.
Yep.
Well, if you're not eating dinner at the table, start eating dinner at the table.
Right.
Number one.
Not in front of the TV.
Not in front of the TV, and put your phone away. Phones are not allowed at the table.
Right.
That's
that would
just
be
really
a good
easy.
spot to start. Or even, we all like to have time in the morning, at least I do, to scroll, to sit, to wake up. But if you're rushing into your day, and part of that rushing is I got to look to scroll. Maybe wake up earlier, go to bed earlier, but at the breakfast table too, don't sit there and scroll. Use that time to talk to each other. And I'm cranky or they're cranky, again, well then let's figure out why you're cranky and
Usually
stop that.
cranky means that you haven't had
Right, you haven't had enough sleep, you're stressed because you're already rushing into your day. So get up an extra 10 minutes early to have some time to talk. So that's number one. Again, then this one we've already kind of alluded to, limit screen time, TV or phone, iPad, any of that, an hour or more before bedtime. We're really good about doing that with our little children, the 2-year-olds, the whatever, the 5-year-olds. But how about you as yourself? Well, I can handle it. I'm an adult. I don't know.
Yeah. I like the 3-2-1 sleep. So it's 3 hours before bed, no food. This is if you want to have good sleep, because a lot of people I can't sleep.
Right.
So 3 hours before bed, no food.
Yep. So your body has time to digest.
Yep. 2 hours before bed, no work. And 1 hour before bed, no screens.
And that's tough if you're getting home at 8 at night or 9 at night. Like when I come home, I'll just say, well, I can't do that when I have basketball games and I'm not getting home till 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but when you get home, then you don't have to scroll on your phone to relax. That's really not relaxing. Grab a book.
Grab a book. Right. I'm just saying, I do.
He's trying to get out of this
I know.
because he.
No, I'm just telling you.
We
get it. I get it. I know where you're at. Because I will. I'll come home from a ball game and I still have the humming of the bus or the game situation at 11 o'clock at night, and I want to sit there and just scroll. My cat wants attention.
So you say, well, what do you do for an hour before bed? Well, go take a bath.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself ready for the next day so you're not rushed in the morning.
Yep, make your lunch.
There's a lot of things that you could be doing before bed. Do a little stretch, do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right, that's for sure. Number 3 that we're talking about today, in your car rides. Those are great places for you and your spouse or you and your kids to connect. Where we live, our little town, it doesn't take more than 2 minutes to get across town. So our car rides. It
takes 2 hours to get to Walmart. So
that's true.
we have a lot of car time.
Yeah, at times. So just when you have your car time, it's not about them sitting on the phone and again distracted and not connecting with each other. That's
in their
what
own lives,
in your own bubble.
Yeah.
We want you as a family to connect all the time, and you got to limit your distractions. Mm-hmm. And the great place, one of them, is the car, because you're trapped in very close quarters, and so it's a great time not to even listen to the radio at times. Mm-hmm. Or let the listen to the radio spark conversation. Or the silliness. Sometimes you just need to be silly together as a couple or as a family. Mm-hmm. So it's not all about in-depth, conversation. It's about just connecting, for sure. Another one, plan to do things without distractions. Plan a game night, family game night. We always did family pizza night. Or the next morning, on Saturday mornings, it was cooked breakfast with eggs and the whole 9 yards. Those kind of things are great distractions or distraction killers. So you touch base with family. And so make that time. I say take a walk. Colette and I like to do that when the mosquitoes aren't thick and the snow's not blowing.
We have very few.
Very few days, where we're at. But games, puzzles, even a movie, if the movie, even at your house or whatever, but you connect before, you get to pick the movie, you talk about the movie afterwards, leave the screen time and distractions away, you're not focused on work. Too many of us are work all the time, and I'm guilty of that. I always say in my profession of pastoring, I just take moments off. I don't take days or sabbaticals, and I kind of pat myself on the back and say, good job for just moments. Am I preaching to the choir today? Maybe.
No, it means you're preaching to yourself. You need to.
Oh, preaching to me. Yeah, preaching to myself. Yep. Or, another great one, I like sometimes when we make meals together. That's a good one. Sometimes we can't do that. I know when, you're teaching lessons, and that's usually during dinner time. So it's, when we had young kids, it was always on me. But I always like it when we can make dinner together too. So that's one. Another thing to do is don't say yes to everything. There's some Marthas out there. The Luke chapter 10 understanding of I got to organize and make sure everything's good, and that's kind of me again, type A personality. I like things perfect. The other day I was doing a funeral and it was where I wasn't going to get service, so I thought I had everything downloaded, and then I didn't. I did something wrong, and then I was stressed and hurried, but then there's all these other little things and distractions, and so you don't have to say yes to everything and be in charge of everything. Be in charge of the things God wants you to be in charge of, and do the things God's called you to do. First of all, it's to your family. You're in charge of that. And if everything you're saying yes to is leading you farther and farther away from your family and God, it's probably something you need to give yourself permission to say no a little bit in a soft way. Or say, can I help in a little bit of a limited role? Something along those lines. Separate, make boundaries, separate work and home. That's sometimes hard. As pastors, I take work home with me. Or as teachers, we would bring papers home to correct.
Like if you have that time between work and home, use that as a decompressing time. And then before you go into the doors, just kind of even close your eyes, release everything of the day, and then you're ready to go into home mode, right? And so a lot of people, though, work at home. So how do you make that transition? Well, try to have that little divide where, okay, I'm leaving work here, and
it's
now
a table
I'm going to,
or a room.
I'm going to now be, and so maybe you need that little time, a couple minutes just to close your eyes, decompress, and okay, now I'm in home mode. So what we're saying is not just spilling it from one activity to another. I'm good at that too, my schedule gets full, and so I go from here, and then I'm putting this hat on, and then I'm putting this hat on, and I kind of have all the hats on, and I'm trying to juggle them all. There needs to be some boundaries before that, and to put that into my schedule. I need to schedule that myself.
Right. And the other thing, schedule and put boundaries between downtime and quality time with your spouse or with your kids. I think that's just important. This is just my downtime, and I'm going to use that for myself and just decompress. And then there's times I'm going to really focus on quality time with my wife, or couple time, those kind of things. Well, I'm a big goal setter. I don't know where I got it in my life, from my parents, from my coaches, but I'm always a goal-oriented fellow. Special ed, we're supposed to write IEP goals for our kiddos. So I'm a goal guy. So in distractions, that's to me an easy one to write a goal, screen time for the week or distractions for the week. And don't make it so grandiose that you won't obtain it, because then you're going to beat yourself up.
Right.
Find small goals. And then even reward yourself. Okay, I'm going to work diligently for the next half hour, at my work or whatever it is, and then I'm going to take a 5-minute break, set a timer so I hear a ding, 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 and then get back at it. Something little, and give yourself little goals.
And it's easier too if you're coming at this as a couple together. Maybe you set a goal together as, okay, no phones in the room, in the bedroom at night, or at least we're not going to be on them. If you use it for an alarm, we're not going to be on. So screen time is. Should we do that challenge?
Which one? No, we definitely put our phones in our room because that's where our chargers are and that's where our alarms are. But I wasn't even going. I don't know what you. I'll let you decide that one. But I was going to say, here's one because it's not on you. If you have kids with phones, have the phones turned into your room at night.
Or into the kitchen. If everybody's phone is plugged in at one spot.
Right. And, the distraction. So if it's 10 o'clock bedtime,
say,
11
what about
o'clock.
the alarm? You know what? You can go to the store and get these alarm clocks.
They're under $10 now.
Oh, yeah. They're pretty cheap and they last for a long time.
And you can get them with a battery, so if the power goes off, you're not losing.
Yeah. There's no excuse.
Wow. This new old technology.
I know it.
So, but limit that and get involved, but set goals. There's a myriad of ways. Contact us if you want help on figuring out how to do goals. Again, that was my job as special ed, write a goal. So I'll help you with goals. That's good. And don't use distractions, the last thing, as a coping mechanism. Too many of us are hurting on the inside. And instead of dealing with hurt and the frustrations and trying to get things worked out, we compound them and make them worse by using distractions or other things as a way of turning that off because it hurts. And that could include alcohol. That could be going to the bar. That could include some of these other, I've got to go coach my kids, and that's where I'm going to find value and worth because there's so many things that we use as a distraction, as a coping mechanism. And if you and your spouse, again, you're a team, figure some things out.
And maybe even sitting down together and saying, okay, what distractions do you see in my life? Because sometimes the other person can see it more clearly. Well, I see that this is a distraction for you. Maybe if you could, limit this.
Yeah, bringing work home.
I see you bring work home. That's distracting from the family.
Even
and
in your
open
head.
to have the conversation.
Amen.
So, all right, we covered a lot of stuff.
We did. That's fun. This is good stuff.
Yep. So we hope that you take some of those things, like we said, take 1 or 2 things that you can do this week and challenge yourself to be less distracted and ultimately, focus more on God. So until next time, bring hope home to your life today.
If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. See you next week.